Hi everyone, my name is Chandler Swanson, and today for the exploration assignment number 2, I'm going to be discussing with you my interview with Miss Maureen Weigel. Miss Maureen Weigel is currently a veteran. She retired back in 2016 from the Army after serving for 25 years. Her official title is in a brigade general, and her other title right now is the Deputy Adjutant General for Veterans Affairs for the entire state of Pennsylvania, which is great. She is extremely active in working with veterans in veteran homes, helping veterans access better services, and a lot of things along those lines. So before we get into too much of Miss Maureen's military experience, I did just want to give a background about her outside of the military because she is also an awesome human being outside of the military and her achievements within the military. So starting off, Miss Maureen also has two bachelor's degree. One is in political science and the other is in communications. She also has two master's degree. The one master's is in business ethics and the other master's is in strategic studies from the Army of War College. And those are all awesome achievements that she has. Adding on to that, Miss Maureen also has two children. Her daughter is actually one of my very good friends, and they have a small Shih Tzu named Ninja that they love to take around everywhere. And he often accompanies her on her trips when she goes to the veterans' homes, and the veterans love seeing little Ninja run around. On top of this, some of the other work that she does with veterans is she works with different clothing manufacturers to discuss and formulate different plans to make clothing that adjusts and is comfortable and fits for veterans that have prosthetic limbs, which is another awesome service that she is giving back to and helping contribute to. So with all that being said, now we are going to get into Miss Weigel's experience while being in the military. So starting off, Miss Weigel originally had no intentions of joining the military. The only reason why the military was kind of in her realm was her dad was previously in the army, but really it was a nurse that had come up to her and was like, you would be awesome in ROTC. And she kind of blew it off, but then the more she thought about it, she was kind of bored. She was very active in her past life while she was in high school, and now moving to college and having no athletics or the competitiveness of it, she was bored. So she gave ROTC a chance and ended up absolutely loving it. So that process was very easy and not painful or stressful for her. As she stated, the ROTC process was great. She loved the competitiveness, being able to compete with the different individuals. So from there, she explained to me that she actually missed her appointment to contract. So she just signed up right then and there, knew she wanted to be cadet, and it was very quick and easy process from there. So moving forward from the ROTC, she then went to basic training. Here, she explained that her experience was a little bit different. When she went into basic training, it was a very eye-opening experience for her. Herself, she was a woman in 1991, and here women were really just starting to get integrated into the military. So, on top of adjusting to a completely different lifestyle, routine, way of life, as we've kind of discussed in class, and how much of a change the military is from civilian life, and how basically you have a different identity while you're in there. On top of being a woman and kind of dealing with being integrated into a mainly male dominated field. One of the things that she really emphasized with me when we were discussing was how many nights when she would hear just women crying and being so sad and depressed. She was in a platoon of 60 women. And just being so sad and depressed because at this time period, women were not allowed to have custody of their children while they were in the military. So a lot of women were coming into the military to help their children get a better life, gain a better future, be more financially stable for their family, and are the sole providers. And at that point, that identity had also been taken from them as a mother and being in the military. So that was one thing that she really said impacted her experience in the military and really motivated her to not only be amazing in basic training for herself, but also for everyone else that was in her platoon. So moving forward from here, she then went to Fort Drum. And in Fort Drum, this was mainly her first leadership position, which she said that she was very blessed and she loved this. Unfortunately, while she was at Fort Drum, her roommate was outside one night and was shot and killed right outside of her apartment. She explained to me that this was extremely detrimental to her mental health at the time and was very hard for her to process as she was away from all of her friends, and her closest friend and someone that she heavily relied on throughout basic training had now been taken away from her with really no warning. So from there, that was something that she really had to hold dear and use as a motivator to keep moving forward, which, as she explained to me, is what she used it as. And then from here at Fort Drum, she was deployed to Haiti. She was deployed to Haiti in the efforts to uphold democracy, and she was in the 10th Mountain Division. She was out here for 7 months, and her purpose of being out here was humanitarian efforts and to kind of aid Haiti. When she returned back from Haiti, she was not exactly sure where she wanted to go with her career, whether that be in the military or whether that be out of the military. So in 2001, she was working with the ROTC in Penn State University, and she was also working with different veteran and military affiliations throughout Harrisburg and central Pennsylvania. During this time, she also touched again on how different military integration was for women. And when they really started to get integrated, she said for some of the older lieutenants and some of the older generals that worked in the ROTC section, it was a little bit difficult for her to be able to help them and understand that, hey, like women are capable, they can do these things. And if they're coming here, they want to do this. She explained to me this one experience that she had. She was meeting with a recruiter, and just to go over some tips and tricks to kind of help explain the process better and aid the process in going more smoothly. And when she had arrived, there was a woman, a naked woman, on his poster in his office. And she kind of just explained to him that, you know, when you have things like this in your office, the women want to be respected when they come in, as they are doing a very respectful service. And that's what they expect from you. So she kind of explained that to them. And she did say that moving forward, she has genuinely seen a huge difference in the lieutenants and some of the older generals and how they would have thought, and they're forward thinking now once women are kind of fully integrated into the military experience and have the same options of services that men do. So from here, we're looking at a time period of about 2008 now. She was then deployed to Iraq. She was in Iraq for about 8 months, and during this time, she was active duty fighting. She said this was one of the most impactful experiences that she's ever had in her entire life. This was entirely different experience from when she had went to Haiti. During this time, while she was in Iraq, she was one of two women that were on her specific platoon, which she said was also another thing that was extremely impactful to her. Once she was back from Iraq, keep in mind, like as I stated earlier, she did have two children and she's married. So at this time, her children were 7 and 11. And she did receive a lot of backlash from women and other individuals within their community on why they thought she shouldn't have done that, and how could she leave a 10 and or an 11 and 7 year old at home with their dad. She kind of just explains that, you know, their dad is a very competent caregiver, and she felt as though this is something that she needed to do. And she said, looking back on it, she would have never changed that experience. And as I also stated, I had a unique chance to be able to talk to her daughter and kind of ask her how she felt her reintegration back into civilian life was like after her mom had served in Iraq. And she stated, you know, at the time she was young, she was a 7 year old. At the time she was young, she never really understood kind of what was going on in the depths of it. But now at 22 years old, she is extremely appreciative and thankful of the different accomplishments and the service that her mom has given back. So I thought that was extremely impactful, and I wanted to add that into the interview. So here from, oh, excuse me, moving forward from here, we talked about the different services and types of avenues that social workers can really integrate themselves into to becoming more competent. Like I said, she does a lot of work in veterans homes. She offers a unique perspective on getting an inside kind of idea on what these different veterans are experiencing, what their needs specifically are while in veteran homes. And as I stated earlier, with the clothing and fitting the prosthetic limbs, that's a huge thing that she has integrated herself in. And also, as social workers, she said not to. She said to stress that we need to become more competent and competent in the sense of engaging in classes like this and class discussions and creating assignments like